This is my SAVI
And this
story.
is my SAVI story.
This is my SAVI story.
Presented by Seven Figure Flipping.
Oh, boot camp. I mean, I guess I have to give kudos to my recruiter, Chief Page. I don't want to say boot camp was easy, but I was definitely over prepared for boot camp. I was in shape. I was mentally prepared. I knew exactly what I was getting into. And it was just a natural progression for me. It was where I grew up. I turned 18 in boot camp. I was on my own. It was the longest I had really been away from home. And it was just like a grown up experience, and being able to do it with, 80 to 90 other, guys in the same situation, and building that camaraderie and accomplishing something, in boot camp. It was really just a start to me becoming an adult, to be honest. Yeah.
Basic training was very eye-opening. I'll never forget the first day I landed at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas. I decided to join in July, which if anybody knows the state of the summer months in San Antonio, Texas in July, it's a little bit hot, needless to say. And coming from California, we are not used to humidity. So that was kind of introduction number one to the world. That was very interesting. I remember being so tired the first day. We laid our heads on the pillows once we got into the dorms. It's just hectic. It's crazy. People are yelling at you. The reality of life has set in, and oh my goodness, what have I done? Mommy, where are you? And then you lay your head down and you wake up what feels like 10 years later, but really like 10 minutes later. You don't know what day it is. You don't know where you are. You feel like you're in a dream. And then it quickly comes to the realization that there's somebody yelling at you to get up, move, make the bed perfectly. So that was my introduction to the military, and it got very real very quickly. And but I embraced it, and it was so interesting connecting with people from so many diverse backgrounds. I thought I had exposure to diversity being from California, but the diversity that I had not been exposed to was the lack of diversity. So I actually ended up in basic training with individuals that had never spoken to a Hispanic woman before and didn't know what to say or didn't know how to interact. They were from very small towns that had really never gone outside of their kind of bubble, if you will. And so exploring that level of diversity was very new to me, because being in California, everybody, again, integrates with everybody. It's very open. And so that was a very new situation for me, and really realizing how big the world is and really how small it can be at the same time.
Yeah, so my first experience of military training was a small little boot camp that I went to at the prep school in Rhode Island, from the Naval Academy. And this was a 4-week boot camp. I'd say it's pretty intense, right? Pretty intense for a high schooler getting trained by a bunch of seniors at the Naval Academy, right? Whatever that intense looked like. But I mean, they did a lot of stuff to us that later on was deemed outlawed, and a lot of people got in trouble for it. We'll say that. But I think we probably had one of the last real boot camp experiences that were unfiltered, uncensored, and unmonitored, so to speak, by the Navy. But it was cool. It was actually a lot of fun. Looking back at it, going through it definitely sucked. But a lot of emphasis on being a POW, right? Getting captured and having to go through torture, and making sure that you are silent and you don't give up any confidential secrets or whatever, right? A lot of attention to detail. It's interesting. It's interesting. I don't want to speak bad about my seniors, but it was fun. It wasn't as bad as it might sound, right? It was very motivational, right? A lot of early mornings, a lot of late nights, and it's good. But the one thing though that I love about that training, and also the training that I had later on at the Naval Academy, because we had 2 boot camp experiences, was drill. I absolutely love drill. Drill time was one of my favorites, and I don't know why. Like, it's not like I have a passion for being on like the drill team, or I didn't even join the drill team, but something about it was just so great. I could lose myself in it. It was almost like being an athlete and trying to perfect my steps, my posture, my rifle movements, and just, I don't know, being the best at something. Like, it was something I could kind of lose myself in. And it was fun. It was fun. My seniors, my cadre had a great, I had a great experience with them training us on drill, and the emphasis they put behind it, and the reason why it was important. It was cool. It was where we felt, the most of the team.
So my dad's cousin was in the Air Force, and he was a drill instructor. And a funny story about that is that while he was a drill instructor, a basic training instructor, I was actually going through basic, and our chow hall had shut down for renovations, so we had to go over to the next, dining facility, which was right next door. And I can remember this terrifying voice, like yelling at everybody that came through, and it was just so intimidating because he was very professional about what he said. It kind of got into your head a little bit. I was like, man, this guy is terrifying. I was more terrified of him than I was some of my instructors at the time, just hearing his voice. And then, by the time I got to the front, it was my dad's cousin. And he kind of looked at me and looked at my name tag, and he just turned away and just walked away. I was like, oh my God, thank you. And then I remember later that evening, my instructors calling me out. I was like, I don't know what I did. My bed's good. My T-shirts are folded. We just did our inspection for the day. Why are they messing with me? And I went down to the office, and they were very professional about everything. They had me totally psyched out. And I remember just being so nervous. I was like, I don't know why I'm here. And I walk in, and then my dad's cousin's sitting there, and he's like, do you know who I am, goofball? And I'm like, no, sir. No, I don't. And he kind of explained and told me to relax and tell me, he's there to support me. And then he's like, all right, do an about face and leave. And that's what I did. But I remember being so terrified, and then, I talked to him later. So it was kind of funny.
I served as basically a field medic with the Marine Corps, taking care of combat injuries, and that led me to 2 deployments to Iraqi freedom.